It has been 122 days and almost 6 hours since I last posted a video, and it's been 201 days and 20 hours since I posted a what if. So hello there. It's been a while. A long while. So, how has everyone been doing? Welcome to my new what if series. What if Class 1A was lost in space? Or what if My Hero Academia was lost in space? Or what if whatever. I'm not sure what the name is yet. You'll probably know by the title, unless I have a title that is literally just exactly what I just said. I feel like it's more accurate to say what if My Hero Academia was Astra lost in space, because this is going to be a crossover what if. If you don't know what Astra Lost in Space is, you're honestly really missing out, because it is an amazing anime that is full of suspense and mystery and attempted murder in outer space. So if you like Among Us, then you should definitely watch Astra Lost in Space. I'm going to be changing some of the plot points either a tiny bit or a lot, and you, if you don't watch the show, probably won't know which one is which, but I think that you should watch the show first, or at least acknowledge that at some point you should watch the show. If you've already watched the show, nice. But if you haven't, I believe it's on both Funimation and Hulu. I watched it on Hulu. There are 9 main characters in the first part of this series, and the main characters in Astra Lost in Space are Aries, Kanata, Charles, Luca, Zack, Kitari, Olger, Phoenicia, and Yunhua. The characters that I'm going to be using to take place of each of these characters is Deku as Aries, Kirishima as Kanata, Mina as Luca, Aoyama as Charles, Ida as Zack, Bakugo as Kitari, Todoroki as Olger, Uraraka as Phoenicia, and Momo as Yunhua. Really quickly, Phoenicia is technically Kitari's younger sister, but the reason why I didn't use Eri or Kota is because I want to keep it confined to Class 1A, and so Phoenicia was either going to be Uraraka or Tsu, and I wound up choosing Uraraka because I hadn't used her. At some point I might do some art for this where I make a mix of the characters that I put, but if I sound kind of bad, that's because I have COVID. I despise everything. Before we get into it, a few things to remember is no quirks. I'm changing some plot points, but not others. And I can't remember if there's more, but yeah, those two. So the story starts out with Deku frantically looking for his notes. He asks All Might if he knows where they are, and All Might suggests that they might be on the table, because he's pretty sure that at some point he saw Mrs. Midoriya go and put them there. Deku quickly thanks All Might and grabs the notes and shoves them in his bag. All Might asks if he has everything, and Deku nods and pulls out things that are essential, like his passport, his ID, his student ID, and then he ends up realizing that he's just unpacking half of his bag, and he puts all of his stuff back in his bag. All Might drives him to the airport, and they say their goodbyes. Deku meets up with the people from his school that are all going to Planet Camp, and he counts 9 people, including himself and the teacher, explaining how they're going to be left alone on Planet McPaw, and they're going to be picked up in exactly 5 days from when they're left. In each team, there's usually 8 people, but like the teacher said, there was going to be 1 extra. Deku counts again and again and again, and says, "There's only 8 of us, though. Who's going to be the extra person?" The teacher says that the last person is running late, but they might have to leave without him if he doesn't get here soon. Everyone introduces themselves. Uraraka introduces herself, and her brother introduces himself as Katsuki Bakugo. The guy next to Bakugo and Uraraka is named Ida. Mina says hello and introduces herself as well, quickly followed by Aoyama. Deku introduces himself, and Momo quietly introduces herself. Todoroki introduces himself reluctantly. The teacher continues talking about what all they'll need to do once they get to planet Mikpa. Mina makes a remark on how irresponsible it is to be so late to something this important. Just then, a boy being carried by a bunch of robot cops is sat down next to them and introduces himself as the captain. Bakugo immediately points out that the captain is an elected position, and someone who's so arrogant and so late and kinda dumb won't be elected captain. Bakugo then asks why he was being carried by a bunch of cop robots. The self-proclaimed captain explains how he was helping catch a robber, but then accidentally knocked the robber unconscious. Because he knocked out the robber, technically he was in the wrong, so he had to go and work it out. He introduces himself as Kirishima, and the teacher says that they can get on the ship and go. Once they're on the ship, the teacher explains once again everything that they need to know once they get to planet Mikpa. Deku already knows everything by heart because of how much he studied and looked up about planet Mikpa. Before taking off, they had all changed into their special spacesuits. I forgot to talk about that, but whatever. They all sit down in their assigned seats, and Deku is right next to Bakugo. Bakugo talks about how he's not here to make friends, and Deku says that he wants to be friends with everyone. This is kind of an issue. They soon enter faster-than-light travel, and are told they will arrive in 4 hours, and are allowed to walk around the cabin. Deku talks with Kirishima and asks why he wants to be the captain. Kirishima talked about how he wanted to be a captain because one of his role models growing up was a captain of a ship. Kirishima said he found the idea of exploring space so exciting. Deku thinks it's really cool that Kirishima respects someone so much that he would want to follow in their footsteps. Especially since Deku feels the same way about All Might. All Might was always a great parental figure. Deku wants to be a lot like All Might when he's older, just because he respects him so much. They land on planet Mikpa, and they all step out and watch the plane take off, or the spaceship. They all go and look out at the scenery. Kirishima takes off his helmet and takes in a deep breath. He finally did it. He was finally on his way to becoming a captain of his own ship, even though that would be a while. Kirishima says, "Let's head to the lodge," and Bakugo makes a remark on how he's not in charge of them. Mina quietly says, "What's that?" as Kirishima and Bakugo continue bickering, and more people join in. Todoroki says, "What's that?" slightly louder than Mina did, and everyone looks to their left. There's this weird glowing orb. My microphone fell. I don't know what to do. You know, like the galaxy E pattern? That, but like glowing and moving. That's what the orb thing looked like. Mina smirks and says, "That's pretty cool." Kirishima says to be careful, and Mina says it's probably just theatrics. She touches it, and she starts being sucked into the orb. When she's completely sucked in, Kirishima yells to everyone to put their helmets on. They all run away, but to no avail. They were all sucked into the orb. Yeah, sorry, my microphone is knocking against stuff because I'm having to hold it. But that's where I'm going to leave it off for today, because I need to get some water. A few things to mention at the end of the video. I have a Discord server, and also I have an Instagram now. If you join my Discord server and then private message me, I will draw something for you. And you can either choose like something, and I will either draw something completely random or something not completely random. And if you follow me on Instagram and private message me there, you will also get a drawing, and you can either ask or not ask. You can either ask for something specific or just get a surprise. I will not be doing anything that is like not safe for work or something that makes me uncomfortable. You can ask for things that I'm not good at, but if you get mad at me for it being bad, then that's your issue. I will not draw like a thing with like all the class 1A characters unless like 10 of you guys ask for a full class photo of class 1A. I will not do more than I might do up to 4 people in a drawing per person. So, I'm thinking of live streaming. I feel like it would be interesting to like live stream what if ideas. I feel like that would be interesting. Just like have all my followers or subscribers help build off of that, but that would also require work. I also want to like do gaming streams, but I feel like the only thing people would watch is like horror streams, and I'm very scared of horror games. If you guys need anime or manga recommendations, I have some anime and manga recommendations. If you guys haven't read them, I have webcomics. Balanced is ongoing. A Delinquent Made Me Join a Baseball Team is paused, but will be continuing at some point, and might be completely redone yet again. But that's just also a little secret for you guys who stay until the end of the video. Don't tell anyone this, but I may be considering making like animated versions of my stories, like finding a way to like team up with people or like improving my own art skills in order to animate my stories. If you guys want to see that, then encourage me somehow. And I think that's all for now, humans and aliens. Peace.